Deep in the hills of southern India sits a sprawling, golden complex that processes more wealth than almost any religious site on earth. This is Tirumala, Tirupati. To reach its inner sanctum, millions of devotees willingly subject themselves to immense physical endurance, standing shoulder to shoulder in queues that regularly stretch for 20 grueling hours. Inside, pilgrims surrender piles of cash, heavy gold jewelry, and even their physical vanity, offering their shaved hair in acts of total submission. Which raises a rather logical question. If the deity residing here is the supreme, all-powerful creator of the universe, why does he require a continuous, massive influx of human currency? This accumulation of wealth functions as an active repayment system for an astronomical cosmic loan. Understanding its terms requires traveling back to a fracture in the universe itself. According to ancient Puranic texts, it started when sage Brigu received a mission from the Celestials: test the emotional limits of the Divine Trinity to see who was truly supreme. Upon reaching Vaikuntha, the highest heaven, the sage committed the unthinkable. He violently struck God Vishnu squarely in the chest. The deity did not retaliate. Instead, Vishnu rose with a gentle smile and carefully massaged the sage's foot, apologizing for any pain the impact might have caused. But goddess Lakshmi watched this exchange in horror. Because she eternally resides within Vishnu's chest, she saw his apology to her attacker as an ultimate betrayal of her sanctuary. Stripped of her sense of protection, the goddess of wealth abandoned the divine realm entirely. Heaven lost its prosperity, and for the first time, the sustainer of creation felt the sharp, very human agony of a broken heart. Unable to bear the separation, Vishnu abandoned his cosmic duties. He descended to earth disguised as a penniless, roaming ascetic named Srinivasa, desperate to find his lost love. His search brought him to the imposing forested slopes of the Venkatadri Hills. Here he retreated entirely, standing motionless and starving in deep penance inside a massive earthen anthill for years. Witnessing their friend wither away, the creator Brahma and the destroyer Shiva staged a quiet intervention. They transformed themselves into ordinary cattle, wandering the hills daily just to secretly pour their milk over the anthill and keep him alive. Believing a thief was stealing his royal milk, a furious cowherd swung his axe into the mound, drawing divine blood. Srinivasa emerged bleeding, yet he spared the terrified cowherd's life. Instead, he issued a specific karmic prophecy of reincarnation, a precise timeline of earthly births designed to eventually bring Lakshmi back to him in human form. Generations later, that prophecy activated. Lakshmi was born into the mortal realm as the human princess Padmawati. During a chance encounter in a royal forest, she crossed paths with the ascetic Srinivasa, and the two fell in love. But earthly incarnations come with earthly rules. To marry a reigning princess, the impoverished ascetic needed resources for a royal wedding, resources he simply did not possess. So he sought out Kubera, the treasurer of the celestial realm, to negotiate an extraordinary financial agreement. This scale visualizes the massive principal required: 14 million gold coins. Kubera approved, but attached brutal terms. The debt carries compounding interest that must be continuously serviced until the very end of our current yuga, the Kali Yuga. Think about the gravity of that contract. The supreme being who holds domain over an entire universe willingly bound himself to the punishing earthly rules of commerce and debt purely to reunite with his partner. During the magnificent wedding ceremony, the veil of human illusion finally lifted. Padmavati remembered she was Lakshmi, Srinivasa remembered he was Vishnu, and their cosmic identities were completely restored. Yet, they made a surprising decision. Instead of returning to the luxury of heaven, they chose to stay on the hills of Tirumala to honor the debt. By remaining on Earth to pay what he owes, the deity ensured he would never be distant or unreachable. Every rupee that cascades into the temple's collection boxes today serves as an active interest payment to Kubera. The vast economic engine of the temple is built on this premise. Even the millions of sweet ladus purchased by visiting devotees function as direct micro-installments, steadily chipping away at the eternal deficit. You can still trace the physical scars of this mythological history today. The prominent crimson tilak painted across the deity's forehead marks the exact spot where the cowherd's axe cracked his skull open in the forest. And if you look closely at the main idol, he is not seated on a throne. He stands in a solitary posture of endless waiting, accessible and entirely dependent on humanity to help him fulfill his promise. The scale of Tirupati's treasury is the physical result of this contract. By choosing a life of perpetual debt on these hills, instead of returning to a distant heaven, the deity remains anchored in our world, a god who stays with his people to finish paying what he owes.